Jess, and today I'm going to do a series review of the Maze Runner series. This consists of the Maze Runner, the Scorched Trials, and the Death Cure. I read the Maze Runner and reviewed it a while ago, I think last year, sometime last year. I gave the Maze Runner 4 to 5 stars, mostly because it was a bit predictable, but it was really good, and I loved the world building, and I had so many unanswered questions that I just wanted to continue the series. But I didn't pick up the Scorched Trials for a while, and then I read this about a week or two ago, and gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This is such a better sequel, and I think really didn't know what was going to happen next, and I didn't know who to trust. Like, I really didn't trust Teresa in this, like, at all, whereas I trusted her in the Maze Runner, and I kind of trusted her in the Death Cure. It's kind of mixed feelings for her. The Death Cure was a bit of a disappointment, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, which isn't like a huge disappointment. It was just I don't think it was a good ending to the trilogy, but I'll talk about that more in my individual review of each book. So, I've already reviewed Maze Runner, so I will link that down below. I think I reviewed Maze Runner. I should have reviewed Maze Runner. If I haven't, I'm really sorry. You're probably not going to get a review of that, because it was so long ago that I read that. So, Scorched Trials. This picks up exactly where the Maze Runner left off. They're in the dorm rooms after they've just been rescued from the maze, and lots of weird stuff like starts happening. Teresa disappears and is replaced with a boy called Aria, I think his name is. Eris, yeah, Eris, that's his name. Who tells them that he was in a similar situation, except his glade was a group of girls and he was the only boy. So Teresa and him have been switched around, and then they start seeing these dead bodies in the hall that then disappear a few minutes later, and finally a man who they call the Rat Man, because he looks a bit like a rat, comes and tells them that the maze trial was just the first part of their trials, and now they have to go through the Scorched trial, which because the earth has been destroyed by these sun flares, there is a part of land called the Scorch, which has been destroyed a lot, and it's like near Mexico, I think they say. And they have to travel 100 miles in 7 days across the Scorch, which is also riddled with these people called cranks who've got the flare, which is the disease that makes them completely crazy. I thought this was just plot twist after plot twist after plot twist. New characters were introduced, we trusted them, and then we didn't trust them, and Teresa just confused me so much that I really just didn't know where we were going with Teresa. I couldn't figure out whether she was good and whether she was looking out for Thomas or whether she was bad. And while I don't like Thomas as a main character, I do love all these side characters. And I loved Newt and Minho. Minho is just the best. Yeah, so this one was really good. I really enjoyed it, though a little bit annoyed me, like Thomas's character just really irritates me, and someone pointed out the amount of times that the chapters are ended with him either going to sleep or passing out, and someone counted how many times he passes out in this whole book, and it's like 30 times, which is insane how many times he can pass out. I mean, in one chapter, I think he passes out about 9 times. But I love this one a lot more than the Maze Runner. I thought it just wasn't as predictable as the Maze Runner was, whereas I didn't really grasp on the Maze Runner. So, in my review of the Death Cure, I'm probably going to spoil the Scorched Trials and the Maze Runner, so don't watch the rest of this if you don't want to be spoiled. But basically, after the Scorched trial, they're sent to a safe haven, where the Rat Man tells them that they can have their memories back, and some people say, yeah, sure, I'll have my memories back, like Teresa and Trypan, and other people like Thomas and Minho and Newt all say that they do not trust Wicked, and they do not trust Wicked in their heads, so they just not have their memories restored. Plus, they don't want, Thomas really doesn't like what he's heard of himself from other people. He doesn't like how he's been portrayed before, and he doesn't want to revert back to that because he doesn't like the person he used to be, and he doesn't like a person who would have anything to do with Wicked, which he seemed to have a lot to do with Wicked. The only thing I really didn't like about this book is I had a lot of questions still in other Scorched Trials, and they weren't answered in this one. They just weren't. And they would have been answered if either Thomas had stopped being untrusting and got his freaking memories back, or if we'd had a bit of scene in Teresa's mind. It would have been, I think, Dashna should have made Thomas be still untrusting of Wicked, but then, like, say, waited until after Teresa and the others had their memories restored, and then if their procedure went fine, then he could have his given back too. But I understand his reasons for not wanting to, but I don't think it was a good plot developer. I think it would have been such a better plot developer if he'd known how he was. And like Teresa, she knew how she was before, but she still didn't agree with it. She still didn't think that Wicked was good, and she still didn't think the things that her and Thomas had done originally were good. Yeah, I think it would have been a lot better if he'd got his memories back, but he didn't. And the ending was just so ambiguous that it irritated me that it was that ambiguous. Like, had Wicked orchestrated the whole thing? Was this just another trial? I don't even know. I wish there was another book just at the end of this one, just explaining all the questions we didn't get answered, just from like Wicked's point of view or something. I know the Kill Order is out, but a lot of people have said that you should just skip it because it's not good or something. My friend has it because she ordered them all, so she said when she's read it that I could borrow it off her, but I don't know if I will yet because I don't know. I think I might just see her opinion of it, and if she likes it then I'll read it, but if she doesn't then I won't. So that's my review of the Maze Runner series. I do recommend these books. I think just be prepared for the last book to disappoint you a little bit, but I think that's a trend in last book in series. I mean, I don't know many people who like the ending to Allegiant, so that's, I think ending to series generally sometimes just don't impress us. So yeah, that's the Maze Runner, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.